World War II, a global conflict that spanned from 1939 to 1945, reshaped the course of history, leaving an indelible mark on humanity. Originating from the aftermath of World War I, unresolved tensions, economic instability, and ideological fervor set the stage for this monumental clash of nations. With its complex tapestry of events, encompassing battles, strategies, politics, and human suffering, World War II remains one of the most studied periods in history. The seeds of World War II were sown in the Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I but left many issues unresolved, particularly in Europe. The rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan, led by Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and Emperor Hirohito respectively, exacerbated existing tensions. Hitler's expansionist ambitions, driven by a desire to create a greater Germany, fueled the flames of aggression. In 1939, Hitler's invasion of Poland triggered the war's outbreak, prompting Britain and France to declare war on Germany. The conflict quickly engulfed much of Europe, with Axis powers, including Germany, Italy, and Japan, pitted against the Allies, comprised of Britain, France, the Soviet Union, and later the United States. The early years of the war saw rapid German expansion across Europe as blitzkrieg tactics overwhelmed opposing forces. France fell in 1940, and Britain stood alone against the Nazi onslaught during the Battle of Britain. However, the resilience of the British people, coupled with tactical errors by the Germans, prevented a successful invasion. In the East, Hitler's ambitions turned towards the Soviet Union, leading to the infamous Operation Barbarossa in 1941. Despite initial successes, the German advance was halted by the harsh Russian winter and the determined Soviet resistance. The Eastern Front would become a brutal and protracted conflict, characterized by massive casualties and atrocities on both sides. Meanwhile, Japan's expansionist agenda in the Pacific led to the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, drawing the United States into the war. The Pacific theater witnessed fierce battles, such as Midway, Guadalcanal, and Iwo Jima, as American forces gradually turned the tide against the Japanese Empire. As the war progressed, it became increasingly clear that the Allies possessed superior industrial and manpower resources. The turning point in Europe came with the Soviet victory at the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943, followed by the Allied landings in Normandy on D-Day in 1944. The relentless Allied advance, coupled with strategic bombing campaigns, gradually weakened the Axis powers. In the Pacific, the momentum shifted decisively in favor of the Allies following the battles of Midway and Guadalcanal. The island-hopping campaign, spearheaded by General Douglas MacArthur and Admiral Chester Nimitz, brought the Allies closer to Japan's home islands. The year 1945 witnessed the final desperate throes of the Axis powers. In Europe, the Red Army launched a massive offensive, culminating in the fall of Berlin and Hitler's suicide in April. On May 8, 1945, known as Victory in Europe, VE Day, the Allies celebrated the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany. In the Pacific, the fighting raged on as Allied forces closed in on Japan. The devastating atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States in August 1945 finally compelled Japan to surrender. On September 2, 1945, Japan formally surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, marking the end of World War II. The legacy of World War II is profound and far-reaching. The conflict resulted in the deaths of over 70 million people, making it the deadliest conflict in human history. Entire cities lay in ruins, and the horrors of genocide, epitomized by the Holocaust, serve as a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty. The post-war world witnessed significant geopolitical shifts, with the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. The creation of the United Nations aimed to prevent future global conflicts through international cooperation and collective security. World War II also paved the way for decolonization movements as European powers weakened and former colonies sought independence. The devastation of the war and the desire to avoid a similar catastrophe led to the establishment of institutions such as the European Union, aimed at promoting peace and economic integration. The memory of World War II continues to shape our collective consciousness, serving as a reminder of the consequences of unchecked aggression, intolerance, and hatred. Commemorative events, memorials, and museums around the world ensure that the sacrifices made during the war are never forgotten. In conclusion, World War II stands as a defining moment in human history, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to shape the world we live in today. It was a conflict of unprecedented scale and brutality, but it also demonstrated the resilience, courage, and sacrifice of millions who fought and suffered in the pursuit of freedom and peace.